Welcome to the Scott Outpost Investigators Podcast. I'm your host, Softy Mage, and we got a co-host of Savadra.
Hello.
We have a co-host of Thirsty Blood.
Greetings, people! A pleasure to be here again.
So today we're going to be talking about Shiyu Defense Season 32 and Deadly Assault Season 21 and our initial thoughts of those. And then we're going to talk about our hype for version 2.4 and also the Rupture meta that is coming up.
In 2.3.
In 2.3. Oh yeah, Oh my goodness, I got the wrong stinging versions going up. It's 2.3 and then Rupture
okay.
meta.
The drip market
It's
just
fine.
happened. It's fresher in everyone's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had the drip marketing, so we are all hyped for the new characters.
Yeah. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this season 32 of Shiyu Defense?
Honestly, if I am allowed to actually go first this time, I had quite a fun with this Shiyu, but on the first instance, what I noticed is that it was a little bit more on the struggling side, not because of the buffs this time around, but more to that later on. All in all, it was still pretty good, felt fine, and I did like the variety in elemental classes and bosses. Softy, how about you?
I thought this was a great Shiyu because the weaknesses were a lot different each round. The miasma's back for at least Shiyu 7, all the bosses for that, and it was a great Shiyu for those two reasons.
Damn, nice to hear.
I felt this Shiyu was relatively well balanced, fair, kind of moving away from the stuff that we have been seeing over the past few Shiyus with all the mechs and sort of fizzling out of the electric weakness, but not completely. There's a fair bit more of the element variety in this Shiyu than there has been basically all patch. So yeah, what Softy was getting at. It's a relatively balanced Shiyu overall, I feel. It's been pretty good. Unfortunately, the frog makes its return, and I'm sad about that. I still hate the frog, but
Oh no, he doesn't like to get frogged.
I got mugged by the frog and it's over.
Oh dang.
But there's a good amount of variety in the top floors too. Been a little bit since most of these enemies appeared. Greta being sort of the counter example, but also not completely, because Hans existed and they're sort of the same thing. They've had a little bit of Greta, had a little bit of Hans. It's been a while since we last saw Friday, but yeah, still pretty well balanced and in the variety on that department. Still seeing a good few of the mechs, good few of the weaknesses, all that good stuff. I think it was fun.
I like that they brought back the Greta, the old enemies, nostalgia.
Yeah, they need to be there. So Friday is next. Imagine next Friday. Nah, joking.
Well, you shall
tried.
see.
But yeah, I mean, if we start from 4 again, we had a little fun again with the Dullahans and Thanatos, of course, Sevadra's arch nemesis. And of course, on the other side, on 4, there was Dullahan and the Frog. So I guess this was this and stage 5 were his most fun Shiyu battles he had. Right, Sevadra?
I think this one, Shiyu 4, the frog was alone, so it was the only target and I could deal with it easier, but I might be getting that wrong. But whichever part, I got a worse time on the Shiyu 5 compared to Shiyu 4, so I'm not completely sure what happened, but basically the frog sucks, and I hate it still. It just jumps in the air and avoids taking damage for like 3 seconds, and it's the worst thing in the world. But it's weak, so it's not a huge deal. I just also hate when it like does that so often, doesn't leap. That's my main gripe with it.
Fair enough. So in my case, I pretty much went through very easy on stage 4. I actually, I mean, there's one team I basically use every Shiyu now because I still love it. Astra, Core, and Fufu is just one of my mains. And I have found a new love with Yuzuha, Harumasa, and Trigger. It is super fun to play. And actually really strong in that combination since Yuzuha is M2, which means every 20 seconds, when I use either Yuzuha ult or EX, I'm allowed to use a chain attack with Harumasa, and this gives him 6 quivers, which is wonderful to use for on-fielding him, while also sometimes proccing shock where I get more quivers. So it's actually really razoring through the enemies. So stage 4 was cleared in under 2 minutes. Stage 5 actually, well, the frog I killed in like 1 minute 14 seconds, but what took a little bit longer because I also scuffed was the side on the physical and fire with the doppelgangers. It took me like 1 minute 53, so I don't know what, but I definitely had massive skill issue on that part. And yeah, how was your experience with 4 and 5, Softy? So far?
4 and 5. Let's see here. 4, I did 2 1 minutes, 1 minute 07 on the first, 55 seconds on the second, and then nice. 5 was a minute and a half on both basically. So 4 and 5 was okay for me. I did find out that Yuzu Ice is not good against in Shiyu or in against little mobs because of the anomaly buildup. Unless I'm just not playing that right, so which could be more of the issue than that. Because you'll be seeing that in the B-roll.
Okay. I mean, do you have Yuzu weapon?
Yeah, I've used it as weapon.
Okay.
I'm just not used to playing the team, but I just wanted to try it for this one.
I see. Fair enough. I mean, it definitely became important to have anomaly mastery on disc 6. So also for user eyes. So I think you're doing that anyways. So
yep. Anomaly mastery has been from the beginning for me, not attack. So even before, a lot of people were when anomaly was easy to accumulate for Miyabi, people were doing attack, but I've always been doing anomaly mastery for Miyabi.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very slight difference, but it's a very nice difference in most circumstances, and I think especially with the introduction of Yuzuha and the build-up cap that happened again not several patches ago, but last patch with all of the deadly assault stuff. I think just anomaly mastery is generally more prime and viable compared to attack percent. Very hard to get away with attack percent these days.
I feel like anomaly mastery or like anomaly buildup should have been like a patch note instead of like a DA change and Shiyu defense. Like
I agree.
How they do the numbers.
I agree with that.
I wonder why they did this silently. And like, there's no problem if they do announce it. Like this is quite a big change, anyways. So
yeah, I didn't like
a little bit sad about that one.
Yeah, I did not like that they silently did that, but still it definitely did need it because Anomaly was very much an overpowered.
Like, I agree. I'm like fine with the fact that they changed Anomaly. I just also wish they said something about it.
Yeah, it's just saying something because honestly, at this point, I agree. The anomaly characters have to put on anomaly mastery on disc 6. So it's fine, honestly. I think it is pretty decently balanced right now, at least. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So if we move on, Zerato, let's start with. Oh, do you want to say something?
Let's just say the buff, and then we'll talk about Shiyu 6 and 7. So the buff for this week is electric and fire damage increased by 20%, and then regular sheer damage increased by 20%. And then aftershock and ultimates hit the enemy agents with attack or rupture, especially gain 15% or 50% crit damage for 15 seconds. So go on, Seb.
The buff overall is a mix of the kind of Seed and Orphe shill when it comes to having the electric and fire damage, but also is running into the next bout of things with this patch going to coincide, or not this patch, this cycle going to coincide very briefly with the start of 2.3, and thus the introduction of Monato and Lucia. So we'll get to see how they fare in this as well, but I think it's kind of preparing for that. It's also going to be like moderately okay for Yixuan, because she has 2 ultimates and the buff works for ultimates as well. But the buff does specify that it's for the Aftershock or ultimate buff only like helps attack or rupture agents. So there's the only thing going for anomaly here is the electric and fire damage, and that means it only works on Bernice, Yanagi, and Grace.
Right. Yeah.
I'll just also point out that it's 60% or so of the effect of Chaos Jazz for free just by having those agents, compared to also having them on Chaos Jazz. So if you can get away with it, especially for Yanagi and Grace, would not recommend having them on Chaos Jazz. It's not a great set. I'm just gonna say it. It's not a great set.
What? It's great on Bernice.
It's okay on Bernice, but it's not fantastic.
That's true. Yeah,
I guess
I've seen the difference.
The problem with Chaos Jazz for Bernice is that she can't really use any other sets when it comes to Anomaly, unless you want to go in the direction of like different Anomaly like oriented sets, like Chaos Jazz or Fang Metal, if you're going to use her with like, you know, Yanagi or Piper or something like that. That is an option. It's just also like strange to do that, and not everybody is going to. Chaos Jazz is there for the convenience and the versatility, and that's like its main selling point. The effect that it gives is really not good at all. When you like really look at it, it's just kind of extremely mid, and I've come to realize this over time. So my Yanagi, like I used to have a Chaos Jazz set for her, and then I just consolidated all into one to put on Bernice, and have since moved Yanagi permanently to Thunder Metal.
Makes sense. I'm living in 2024 then, with the when it came out, and that's how you did your sets. But I've never played Yanagi, or don't have Yanagi, so
yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing for Bernice. Like, she doesn't have a specific best set, and it's like her diversity in build changes a lot depending on what team you use with her.
Especially on Critney's part, yeah. So
I was just about to say
Critney's
that.
is an entirely different story, and Chaos Jazz is not relevant there basically at all until you have a 40 sub build, and then even then, if you get like M2, then it's not good either. But that's an entirely different discussion.
I see.
But yeah, so that's kind of the buff in general. It's pretty alright for most of everyone. Kind of leaving out a bit of anomaly, but that didn't stop me, because my clears for 6 and 7, the Miasmic Thracian, Greta, and the Avarice and Sacrifice Jester were all anomaly teams. And they did just fine.
Yeah.
Well, this means that it is perfectly balanced, which is the important part. You still can clear with the anomaly side.
Yeah, I think I did, I redid my 7, so my second side does not seem right. But, I think I did a minute and a half, and then 2 minutes was side, with both of them being that way. Because I did, Vivian Bernice, and Yuzuha on one side, and then, Evelyn, Lighter, and Astra, I think, on the other. Just because that's my better team. Compared to physical or electric.
My thing was a little funny because I had kept with Jane and Vivian on one side, and then Yanagi and Bernice on the second side for 4, 5, and 6. And then I saw that the weaknesses would have lined up in such a way on 7 that I essentially switched Jane and Bernice, so I also played Bernice and Vivian on the first half of side 7, and then on the second one I played Yanagi Jane, and that is a really funny team to play with, kind of having Yanagi on Thunder Metal and Jane on Fanged Metal. It's a funny rotation.
Interesting. How did you use Yuzuha for that team?
For the Jane Vivian team, or not Jane, for the Jane Yanagi team, I used Yuzuha, and with Vivian Bernice, I used Astra.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I thought so. That makes sense. Nice. What's the time actually? Both under 2 minutes?
Yes. First half 154, second half 158.
That's interesting. Ha!
And there was also no Vivian Sig, no Yanagi Sig, no Yuzuha or Astra Sig, but most importantly, no Yuzuha Sig. And I'm pretty sure both of my supports were built on Kaboom at the time. So, it was relatively cheap in terms of the, the limited investment. Because even though my Bernice is Mindscape 1, I offset that with not having signatures for everyone else.
Guess I'm just weak then. I told you I went through with Harumasa and Korin, right? But heavily buffed with my other supports and stunners. First side took me 1 minute 55 seconds, and the second side 1 minute 52 seconds. I probably should have switched between Korin and Harumasa, because the little fatty, the ball of Miasma, is pretty tanky and flies a little bit too much for Harumasa. But yeah, it's still clear that it was still funny, so...
Yeah, the disorder cycling on Vivian Bernice is really finicky, but, honestly, I really like that team. It's really fun.
I really am curious with Anomaly now. I should try that at some point. I don't have time anyway, so whatever. I'm lying. Oh well. But yeah, I think, we are now on 7. We can move back to 6 later. I like that we had Avarice back, honestly. And our wonderful Heretic Chester, because I love this boss. He's a really funny one.
I have an entirely new respect for Avarice name, although I completely disagree with how Lucia said it in her demo. It's because I say Avarice because it makes more sense to me, but apparently the proper canon pronunciation is now Avarus.
Avarus. Sounds like a
So-
Pokemon.
It's I guess like you can make sense of it in that way. I just don't like pronouncing it that way. It feels hard on the tongue for some reason. But you know, that returned, and Lucia's around the corner, so she's gonna have fun with that, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
For anyone who didn't
you.
see the Lucia trailer, go watch it. It's a banger.
Yeah, I
It's a
love it.
banger.
It's hilarious. There's something I want to try as soon as I got as I get Lucia, but I won't tell it right now because I want to be the first one.
Okay.
Keep it secret.
I'm keeping the secret. This one I'm keeping. Yes. But yeah,
Hit us with the Yonky Splinky in the next update podcast.
oh man, this will be funny. But yeah. We had a lot of Miasma, that's for sure. Like, we had 2 Miasma bosses, but I think it was pretty fair on both bosses. So, no particular, I think, bad thing.
Yeah. I think it's pretty manageable. Miasma still feeling like a general benefit to the fights overall. And, like, past few podcasts, we've talked a little bit about like how like the implementation of Miasma has felt with enemies like over the course of the past few patches, and mostly the distinction between like the philosophy of implementation between like the Miasma Priest and the Defiler and the Fiend and such. I want to throw into that list that I do also really enjoy how Avarus's Miasma is implemented. I think that Miasma phase is still like fair enough, while also being like you can do enough with it in the Miasma to where like you can still skip the invulnerable phase. And there's also actually a really funny quirk I learned about from the Chinese community where Avarus is freezable despite being ice resistant. So, because of the way the hyper armor works, apparently, if you trigger freeze during the Miasma, it actually causes a stagger that can prevent him from going into the rolling phase. And I don't know how consistent that is, but I've seen it happen twice on videos from the Chinese community, and it's pretty cool, actually. Like that's like one of the routing distinctions that I like seeing in these like mechanics.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely one of the tankier guys in Zenless and Zero, but this is fair also regarding his appearance. Would be weird if he would be a glass cannon.
Yeah. It's just a fun note. And then Jester still hitting the early Miasma, always getting unlucky RNG on the 4th dagger throw for the Miasma. But it's a time.
He's always laughing at you, so, and I'm laughing back, you know.
Are you laughing?
But what I noticed actually with when playing with Corin, I always have to try to hit the backside. I don't know why, but I have such a hard time to know which is his front and which is his backside. Do you guys have a similar experience? Like, every time he is in his stun phase, like the back and the front side kind of look similar, and because his face is so small, or I'm just dumb. This might be, maybe I'm visually an visual idiot. I don't know, but I have always an issue. Is this the front side or is this the back side? I don't know. So yeah,
Playing with the B-roll right now, and I think I understand what you're talking about, but yeah.
I mean, in the stun, he falls down, right? So if you see legs protruding, if you see legs protruding, it's his front side, and if you don't, it's his back side.
He has no legs.
His legs are very, very small.
He skipped leg day.
But yeah.
Oh man.
I guess I didn't really notice his laughs this time compared to like before, but that I was just maybe I was just in the zone.
In the Zenless zone.
Yep.
Nice. That's how it should be. But yeah, actually a pretty fine 7th note. Honestly, I think it's nothing too hard, not too unfair. 2 mechanics you can adapt on, and you have basically a lot of elements that are covered, basically. So you can use 4 of the 5 elements to do more damage, which is honestly, pretty nice. Yeah. Do we want to move to the 6th frontier?
I have one more thing I gotta ask for Shiyu 6 and 7. The little mobs beforehand, do you guys like the fact that they are pushover, or do you want them to be a little more challenging?
I think I like that there's a continued distinction because like the general shakeups that have been happening with these like early mob waves is that they've moved away mostly from the big mob waves that you would be able to like either get a chain attack on or like do something to build like decibels or other resources before fighting the big boss of the floor. So they've generally moved away from having the like 5 mob waves in most of these, or like or in the higher floors. They've moved away from having those big mob waves to having like smaller mob waves or none. And like I still kind of treat it as a puzzle to like how much can you make leverage of those to the point where like you can still do like some amount of resource farming and thereby like change your rotation in the big fight itself. I still really like that that it's like kind of a continually evolving challenge, and it's a lot to figure out. Like for literally every single team, you're going to be playing it differently in some regards somehow. Like if it's going to be a thing where you're just rushing it as fast as you can for the sake of the time, then it's a little more convenient because there's less mobs to control, therefore less grouping problems. If it's more mobs, then you have the ability to farm some like decibels with several chain attacks back to back. Sorry. If you have none of those, then you're basically just kind of stuck with the starting default, and you have to kind of work around that. And it's probably easiest to route at that point because there's a lot of variance in having other mob waves. But I don't completely mind that they're like pushovers. That's kind of what they were in the first place anyway. It's mostly resource farm in my eyes.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I liked when they had like what was it, the Brute one time, and then it was Thrashian. I just without the miasma phase, I really like that they did do that good resource farming before him. But I guess yeah, you don't really, when there's miasmic phase, you don't really need the mob really to be something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. Like, small mobs basically are just extra resource management you can have. I think we have talked about it previously in one of our podcasts, the little Huskrons, on the Avaros side. The only thing that's a little bit annoying on them is that you can't really pull them together with, like, let's say, a Nicole EX. I think Yuzuha also even has a little bit of trouble getting them together, and they jump around a little bit. So they are probably, you could say, one of those annoying side enemies you have, especially if you don't have an agent that is able to, center them. Other than that, Yeah, it's just basically cannon fodder for your agents. They will just consume a little bit of those enemies to gather some energy, and then you can go full hand on the main boss. That's basically it. I think they're okay. I like it that there is variants now, that some bosses have them and some bosses don't have them. I also like the idea of sometimes there is not a small wave but a medium boss before the main boss, and this brings in more flavor, which I do like if there is variety. We all agree that this Shiyu is actually really nice because there is a lot of changes and it's not stale. So all in all, the only thing I can say is they really should add the enemies from like Hollow Zero, the Hornets as cannon fodder. They should definitely add all the Nineveh's tentacles as cannon fodder. Would be nice to have, as a change of pace. But also, like a medium boss, the crab, the mimic crab. Imagine starting a Shiyu and there's a box just standing there in the middle and you have to activate it to battle. This would be super funny. So,
and it does take time, so you got to actually activate it within the time frame. You can't just wait for it to activate itself.
I mean, yeah, something like this. I mean, it would be fun. Imagine you have to go and open the box, and then the battle starts. I think this would be an interesting addition, and nothing more. Just like those small gimmicks bring so much flavor to the game. It's just variety, you know what I mean? So just get every boss we have into Shiyu defense, and because this will be probably a mode we will have forever, I guess. And getting everything in from the game just makes it more interesting, and not like, oh my god, it's 2 weeks over, now I have to do Shiyu again to grab my 720 polychromes. Oh, it's again all the 7 bosses we have, and that's it, you know what I mean? No, the variety is what actually most of the people like a lot, and this Shiyu is a good example of a good Shiyu, in my opinion.
I did put that in my survey notes for bringing back old ones like the Hornet.
Let's go! That's how we do it. Same.
Yeah.
I think I had like 15 points on the survey I presented again, so I should do a stream in the future about the survey. Or we can do a podcast about the survey and our thoughts about it. Well, we'll see.
It all depends on when it comes out.
Indeed.
So let's switch to DA Season 21. What are your guys' initial thoughts on that?
Given we have most familiarity with all of these bosses, except I think this is the first time since the podcast has started that we have seen UCC, which is very cool. Always a welcomed revisit. Very fun boss.
Absolutely.
But given that, can talk maybe a little bit about Pressure Complex, but my first impression was the buffs are kinda cheap. I'm gonna be honest. Aberration's okay. I'm fine with Aberration. I think Aberration is just a really good generalist anomaly buff.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. This is a really good buff in general.
Fiery Assault is like the same buff that we got at the start of the first DA for Seed cycle. So this is like another thing for Seed and Electric agents overall, which is like alright. This buff is very good for like Sanbi, Haramasa, and I have figured out in recent times it's also really good for Anton. It's okay for everyone else, but the bonus damage from having 2 attack agents is kind of a lot. So it's of course best tailor-made for Seed.
But also Orpheus, don't forget Orpheus.
Yeah, Orpheus as well. But Clarity, fun fact, they actually released a patch about Clarity that was like a hotfix thing where they have incorrect text on Clarity. Instead of it increasing crit damage, it's supposed to increase max HP, which I'm not sure how you typo that, but apparently that just means it's even more of a fully rupture favoring buff than it was written, because originally it would have been thought that the crit damage increase was universal, so you could use it if you wanted to, but like it still then goes on to be sheer damage and rupture specialty only, like damage and ultimate damage and such. But it's an okay rupture thing. I am sad we're only going to get like one proper day to actually use it with Monato, but we'll probably have something better for next cycle, which we'll talk about that. But
true.
You read the bug notes?
Yes, I read the bug notes.
You don't read the bug notes?
I
read a lot of things. A lot more things than most people in this game.
Oh yeah, Sevadra probably has now some trauma from certain things that happened. But yeah, there was a bug fix, and they explained the clarity thingy, and I was a little bit surprised, because the thing is, surprised because I didn't use it, so the only two buffs I used was Fiery Assault and Aberration, because I was like, the right one is just for Rupture, and I don't have Yishuan or any Rupture yet. So I didn't use it, so I was like, okay, never mind.
But yeah, generally speaking, I think the buffs are like, not fantastic. Aberration and Fiend both being here is pretty good. Other than that, like, Priest and Corruption Complex have felt manageable. But it's like, not having Rupture agents, I kind of definitely feel it on Priest at this point. Like, I'm seeing my score disparities compared to people having Yishuan. So I'm glad I'll be able to fix with going for Lucia as I am going for her. And I'll have Monato.
Well, if we consider the balancing stuff, we basically have one buff for Anomaly, a really good one. Then we have like a Meteor Core buff for attackers. Meteor Core because like it favors more to have two attackers in the squad, so this is actually a very shilly buff. Which makes for mono attackers, like just one attacker in one team, makes it a little bit harder, and you also have the electric damage stuff, so you either have to use... Wait a minute, who? Sanbi or Harumasa to actually get the electric damage up here. You can use, in theory, Yanagi on crit, but that's a different topic. And then you have the Clarity, which is basically for the Rupture class. It is, in a way, balanced, but at the same time the attackers got a little bit shafted here, because this is the shield part with having 40% attack bonus to when you have two attackers in your team is basically mainly for Seed and Sanbi. And then if you also lose the electric damage, like every other agent, every other attacker will lose that part as well. So basically we get only 20% attack up for the whole squad, if I go with Corrin for instance, and then 30% crit damage, but the electric damage is gone and the extra other damage. So it's like, it is okay, you get buffs, but of course the scores will be lower. So it's like, it could have been better, it could have been worse. That's why Meteor Core.
It's 20% bonus damage, just kind of generally speaking, versus the included bonus damage from two attackers, and the electric goes up to 9. It's like 2/9, kind of a huge ratio.
Yeah, it is.
I guess it also depends on if you already have inflated like damage percent in your builds or in your team buffs. So I guess it's okay. It's probably not as impactful as it looks, but since damage percent is generally pretty common, but it's still an cycle overall.
It is okay. Like, you can clear. This is the important part, that you're able to clear. But yeah, I think the middle buff could have been set up a little bit better. Maybe after the shilling is over with Seed and Orphe, maybe the attackers will get a little bit of a better buff in the future. Like, it's more balanced.
More
again.
generic, better buff, though, yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Maybe by having the buffs kind of lower tier is one of the reasons why UCC is here, because he's kind of just a punching bag for every attacker and generally everyone that can impair legs, which is mostly not anomaly, but there are some exceptions.
Miyabi.
Since they they deal with raw damage, kind of similar to the Miasma Fiend, or not the Fiend, the Defilers thing. Similar to that, it's like raw damage. So Miyabi handles legs really well, and every attacker handles legs really well, but it doesn't factor anomaly damage. So impairs are less frequent on anomaly teams, but it's generally still a very easy boss. I've seen basically every single run that I have seen and done with every team that I could think of. I have seen no less than 25k, and it's kind of crazy. Like, even though it's 116 million HP, it's kind of funny.
It's still a wonderful. It's not a punching bag, by the way. It's a punching leg. Okay, we are punching legs.
This is true. That's my fault, chat.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like how random his attacks are, but otherwise it's an okay boss. It's more random than a lot of the other bosses for UCC.
Yeah, he's a little bit janky, but he's a robot, so I think this is okay to have a little jank in him, you know. For instance, if I would fight him with Corrin, I had experiences in the past as well, that if he moves around a little bit too much, then agents like Corrin will miss some attacks, which can be indeed annoying. I agree on that one. But on the other hand, if you have agents like DPS Jingi or Harumasa, they basically are glued to the enemy, and I have to be honest, I'm a player who simply ignores to check which leg I'm hitting. I'm just hitting it, and I'm getting all the impairs on a regular thing. So yeah, I'm very ignorant, but I'm getting my impairs, so it's very funny. I often get out with either 4,800 or 5,000 performance points, and I'm like, okay, other people try to hit the not damaged leg, and I'm like, I'm ignorant. Let's just go for it. I'm sorry about that. This doesn't help anyone.
It does. There's like the leg impairs and the body impairs and stun. Like, they both count for the performance points. So
true.
If you're doing enough damage and stun, then yeah, you're kind of just vibing. But it's not very hard to hit that if you're doing raw damage. And actually, funny enough, body damage does... I don't think it does factor anomaly, but it's easier to get the body impairs when like the thing is stunned, because it factors in the stun damage multiplier. There are also quirks with the legs in the stun, I have learned, to where you apparently cannot target legs in stun unless you proc corruption on the boss in stun, which I did not know until recently. It's kind of strange. I don't know if it's a design quirk or something. I doubt that's intentional, but it is what it is.
Actually, out of curiosity, do I remember that right? But aren't the legs usually getting repaired after the stun, or was this on a story mode or somewhere else and not in DA?
They don't get repaired after stun, but after you impair a leg, regardless of how much damage you've done for the other legs, they heal some amount. I don't remember if it's full or if it's like a partial amount, and I'm pretty sure it's a partial amount because I've gotten like 2 leg impairs like relatively quickly back to back within like 5 or 6 seconds or so. And like, so I don't think they heal back to full, but it does make like getting in pairs in quick succession kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not know, if you are able to get 3 legs at one time and paired, you get an achievement. So if you really want to order from achievements, you can do that.
If you're desperate for polychromes, go into Deadly Assault and break UCC's legs 3 times.
No, not 3 times. You have to do 3 at the same time.
Oh, that's hard.
No, actually, it wasn't because I got this achievement also, but isn't it more like you have to break 3 legs before his next stun window? Because I remember I was checking this one and I did this one in one of the fairy commissions in the TV mode and used Envy to make it happen, to impair him 3 times before the stun window, and this is apparently the achievement. It is the biological dismember thingy achievement, right, Softy? We are talking about this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds
the
familiar.
biological disassembly, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, so you have to do it in basically one stun, as before the enemy gets stunned. You have to do 3 impairs. That's the actual challenge. It's actually not easy to do.
I gotcha.
It's alright. I think it's like moderately doable. It's not that easy, but it's also not that hard.
Yeah. I remember because I tried it with Corrin, and Corrin was just, with other enemies, was just too fast on stunning him. So I was like, okay, let's try Envy, and for some reason, Envy was able to do it on DPS. Don't ask, I have no idea how it worked.
I just remember doing it with Miyabi one time, and I got the achievement. I was like, whoa, hello. I think I recorded that one.
Hello there.
Have it on video, but on YouTube, but that was a ways back.
Damn. Game is getting old, and so are we. So, how about, let's move. Do you have anything else to say on UCC? Because I don't.
No. Do
Fun
we
boss.
want to go to...
I like it.
Yeah. You want to go to Fiend or Priest?
I mean, it's whatever.
Honestly, we've kind of talked them to death already.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm kind of fine, just like chilling with them. I think they're. Maybe I can mention. I think since the last time Fiend showed up, there was an increase in HP. Maybe, like.
But other than that, I did clear.
Oh no, never mind. This is not an HP increase cycle. Never mind. Last cycle that it appeared was 19. It also had 121 million. It was before that, I believe. Season.
Gotcha.
Yes, season 17. It had 101. So the HP has not increased again yet. I don't think it's going to. But it actually might increase again, but I have heard from the grapevine that there is going to be some deflation coming soon.
Yeah, actually there's some balancing stuff in the background which will be interesting, but I think we can't talk too much in detail about that, sadly. But there's a lot going on in the backgrounds about those things. So what I noticed,
it was mostly a segue into the things I'm hype about topic.
I see. I mean, there's just one thing I want to say that I noticed. I think the first time when Fiend came out, I always go with the same team at first just to get the points up. User Jane and Vivian, and I remember I think the first time one of my best scores was on 46k after trying hard, and then I mostly, due to time issues, I ran just 1 or 2 times with the team, and I think there is a 1 or 2 months gap in between those runs, and both of those had 43,000. So it actually didn't change from when she first came out and now with this DA, which is quite funny, which just means that Aberration is just a really strong buff and balanced out the little HP inflation we had in between when Fiend first came out. Just wanted to mention that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think my score was actually a 4 or 6k difference between my last Fiend fight and then also the Fiend fight that I did this time around for this season, which I thought was odd, but I just went with it because I thought it was HP inflation, but I guess maybe I just was not a little bit off of my gameplay.
Yeah, the gameplay actually makes a lot of thing, and also RNG. Like, I noticed if I do it just 1 or 2 times, and suddenly the third time is my best time by like 5,000 points. So, yeah, that's that. But Sevadra,
I kind of just did bare minimum for all of these fights. My total score is in like 77k or so. I have yet to actually try harding, but I could probably do a little bit later tonight.
if you have the time, sure thing.
I think I could get probably 100k. I don't know if I'm getting 110 or 120, but my current best record is 130, and I don't think I'm getting that this patch. Even with UCC here, I could probably manage a 50k. But other than, I don't think I'm getting super high in my like score potential. I can barely get like 30k on Priest as it is, or not Priest, Fiend as it is. Priest, I should be able to do something, and I have to look and see over my teams, see what I can do.
Yeah, my max. My max performance was around like 110 or 111 k for performance points one time, but I think I've been hovering around 100 to or 95 to like 105k for my performance points in general.
I mean, that's pretty solid, honestly. I did the last 2 or 3 DAs, I was always between 110 and 120,000 points. Which is funny. With 116,000, I am on the top 2.74% in the EU server. So it's compared to the US and Asia server, of course, the least sweaty thingy here. But again, my runs, I think I used Corin. I think I used my chain team, which made the most points, and then on UCC, I don't know. I think I tried with Haramasa, but then changed to Miyabi just for fun and used Mono Eyes on UCC. Yeah, all in all, it's pretty doable. So just having fun without trying hard, it's okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna say next week's DA or next season's DA is going to be Miasmic Priest, the Defiler, and Notorious Dead End Butcher. All good fun bosses, except for Defiler. People have always complained about that, but we'll see how they changed it in this next season.
What do you mean? The Defiler's great!
Starting next patch, there will also be descriptions in-game for what the preferred archetype matchup is for each of the bosses. So,
this would be interesting, honestly.
As they're written right now, Miasma Priest is suitable for agents with Rupture specialty. The Defiler is suitable for agents with Attack specialty.
Ooh,
and Notorious Butcher apparently doesn't have one, but it would be an anomaly favoring boss. So,
yeah,
go crazy.
Go crazy. That's good to know.
Well, yeah.
So,
that's okay, I guess.
So with the talk of 2.3 and the future on that, what are your guys' hype for 2.3?
My personal hype comes from the fact that I'm going to finally have Rupture agents because I'm pulling Lucia and Yidari. And
Maybe
gonna be
based.
And The reruns, I'm glad I don't have to think about investing a whole lot into, although I do also want Flight of Fancy because Vivian's rerunning. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for that. And what I think I'm most excited for is the fact that there's a new endgame game that's gonna require 4 teams instead of 3.
Oh, yes.
If you missed the 2.3 special program, it happened, I think, the day like immediately after our last podcast recording. But if you missed that, there's a new endgame game mode coming out that is like a story-based thing and has a rotating like limited time mode similar to Shiyu critical nodes, but it's more in the style of Deadly Assault, except the factor is you get better score multipliers for having cleared the other stages with like, and it follows the same rules of Deadly Assault 2, whereas like you can't use the same agents on different stages and you have to complete them all at once in order to get like your score or whatever. But there's an optional thing to do higher multiplier with 4 teams instead of 3. So you're still at a fundamentally good basis if you're playing Deadly Assault and you can challenge all 3 bosses at once right now. But there's now incentive to build a 4th team, and as a person with functionally 9 distinct teams that I can have at any given time when Yidari comes out, my account is built for this and I'm excited. And am also going to throw the proposition to Softy live on recording that we add it to our conversation topics about Endgame if it actually rings. That's the way it works. We start talking about it on this podcast. What do you think?
Yep. I think we should. If I'm wondering if is it full patch that you have to do the 4 teams, or is it just like a rotation?
About its cycle. I am not sure about its cycle, but I think if I had to take a guess, it'll probably be about as frequent, if not slightly less frequent, than Shiyu and Deadly Assault. But it probably will not be as infrequent as Tower. So we can talk about it probably maybe it'll be a once per episode thing that we talk about, like similar to it, or it'll be a once every other episode thing. I'm not sure yet.
We'll talk about it the next one, or the next podcast that we have on Shiyu Defense, because we're gonna see if we can do another special podcast of PvP next week. But we're still in the planning works of that, so we'll see if we can get that going live. But
yeehaw.
We will make it happen. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things I'm most excited for. Besides also like Monato, honestly, I'm really looking forward to Monato. The early gameplay that I've seen for him, he looks so fun.
The Aura Farmer.
Yeah, just both Lucia and Monato look very interesting for gameplay. Like Lucia seems very complicated, but once I play her, I'll probably find out she's pretty simple. But I'm lost in the words of all the terminologies she has whenever I've seen all for the guides.
I will say I have minor worries and concerns about the way that they could potentially take the mechanic of Ether Veil. Because if you aren't aware, Ether Veil is going to be a thing that they end up introducing as like not just a buff mechanic exclusive to Lucia. Yidari can also activate Ether Veil, as it was shown in a special program. But also, it's part of the description of a buff in the next cycle of Deadly Assault. and like, never mind the fact that it's like that this sort of sets the precedent that it's going to become like a thing with Aftershock, where Aftershock is like a more like universally used like move tag for specific agents. I'm not sure how that's going to fare for Ether Veil, but the difference is Aftershock is usable for every archetype, most specifically attackers, but like, you know, every agent in like one of the archetypes, like not every agent, but every archetype has an agent that uses Aftershock to some degree. Ether Veil is a sheer specific thing, so I'm a little scared what that's gonna mean. But I'm still putting my faith in the devs that it's not gonna be anything atrociously terrible.
I think this is something that comes with time. Like, I mean, I get your concern, but we have so many different mechanics right now. Like, anomaly is basically mainly for anomaly agents, you know. Then we have with the aftershocks. The aftershock is also kind of a different subclass that only a few agents, I mean, now more agents have. And Ether Whale will become basically the same thing as an Aftershock thing. The more Rupture agents come out, the more present Ether Whale will be for this particular class. The attackers basically have got an introduction of 2 attackers having in the team with Orphe and Seed. I hope that there will be a 3rd or 4th agent in the future that actually also helps the attacker. And so basically it's you can say it's subclasses we've got introduced as mechanics. So I get the concern about Ether Whale just being for Rupture here, but the same thing kinda goes to Aftershock because not everyone can use Aftershock. So it's like we will have to see how they do it, honestly. Maybe there will be a future thing when Ether Whale can be also used for attackers, for instance. Maybe they will do something like that as a DA buff or whatever. We will see.
Yeah. We shall see.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It's just mostly the like the concern of the exclusivity of it and how
Yeah, I
they're
get
going
it.
to implement it into the class, because Rupture is like pretty unstable as it currently is, and it's going to take a little bit more time to develop. Once it like kind of solidifies its identity, I'll probably be less worried about it because I'll like have a better understanding of like where Ether Veil is as like a mechanic, and it'll also probably be better shared, like and usable. But it's just broad concerns that I've seen a fair bit of in the community.
It is a fair concern. So I agree on that one, but same was Zenby, honestly. Zenby, when introduced, was basically the only Aftershock we had, you know, and she buffed Aftershock agents, and we basically had none, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's basically an NB thingy that actually happened to Yishuan, if you think about it. Yishuan was the first Rupture agent, and well, she was most likely alone. You could use her with other stuff, and basically Yishuan and Zenby were in the same boat, and now the devs are building up the Rupture agents, and we'll get more Rupture agents in the future, probably. I hope so. So, I mean, we got that drip market anyway for
Yes, we did.
2.4 already. So basically, we will receive another fire Rupture agent. So we receive now a lot of stuff, which means they are building on the Rupture archetype. So we will see how they go with it.
To every single Monato Doom poster ever, I will leave you with this. Remember the Jane Piper situation and reflect on this.
Remember the chain and Alice situation. It's the same thing.
As a reminder, Jane and Piper has been a very controversial thing over the entirety of Jane's entire existence, to where people were like, how is Piper better than Jane, or how is Jane better than Piper? And the answer is they generally are equals when you have an M6 Piper and an M0 Jane. The difference comes in their play style, their comfortability, their ability to do their things in specific matchups, and their access to different teammates. It's a ton of axes that determine their power in different circumstances that you cannot substantiate to a single number, right? You cannot substantiate it to a single rank that Piper or Jane is definitively better than the other. And people like to do this all the time. People have already started doing the same for Banyue and Monato. And to all of you who are doubting Monato, just wait. He's going to play differently than Banyue. He is going to have different strengths and different matchups with different rotation styles than Banyue. And he's going to have his place. This isn't cope. This is what the devs have shown in their design philosophy. And I am a continued believer that this will be the case.
They are pretty capable about that. I agree with Seth. And Banato is a really good A-rank agent. Trust on that. I've seen a lot.
If I see any Doom posting in the comment section of this video, I will squint at you very aggressively.
I actually... Banyu was dripped, and I was very much hyped for that because I did like him when they showed him in the 2.3 trailer. A little more than Monato, but
he's got an interesting design going on, all things considered. Like, I don't hate him. I'm just like, community, keep your head on straight, which is something I've been continually saying time and time again. They can't do, but that's okay.
I'm still going to try to build both Monato and Banyu, but it's still going to be very hard on my resources.
I'm interested in the physical stunner from Dial-In. So
yes, because
how that's going to go.
There's two things about Dial-In. Like, I mean, a little pre-story. Like, I'm also hyped for 2.3, and I actually completely skipped 2.2. Because I really want to hop straight into the Rupture, and I mean, okay, I have to also say, let's say Hitari catched my attention, and she is definitely one character I at least am too. I wanted to I'll go a little bit more, but yeah, well, I got a few things to consider. One is my pull luck that was more on the bad side in the past, and there's another thing that now is keeping me from just M2 Yutari and not higher. Dial-In is a physical stunner, which can be either good or bad for me. Bad if she is supporting attackers. Good if she is supporting Rupture, because then I can skip her. But if she is supporting attackers, which we don't know yet, I have to pull her for Corrin and Neko, especially for Corrin. So
Corrin finally has a limited stunner that activates her additional ability.
Yes, and if she's mainly for Rupture, I'm happy. Yes, I'm saying this is a Corrin main, you know, because I can basically pump all my polychromes in 2.3 into Lucia, Yutari, and I will grab Monato on this side. But yeah. Otherwise, I will have to consider getting Dial-In. So yeah, that's that. I'm a little bit scared about my polychromes. I do have some ideas, but I hope I don't have to use those ideas.
I agree. My polychromes are definitely scared for the next 2 patches, and possibly third patch, but we don't know that one yet.
I am only in real danger if they do a Hugo rerun in 2.4, because I'm gonna be in a bit of a tight spot after that part. But as long as I have at least one full banner to go for Hugo, I have a monochrome reserve from the anniversary top-ups that I've been saving for Hugo's rerun. So that's gonna be the plan on that. They put him in there, then I'm might be in a little bit of trouble depending on how my Idari pulls go. But it's gonna be okay, I believe.
Oh, reminds me, I also have to pull Vivian sick. I need her signature weapon, so this comes in addition. Will be fun. I hope we are all lucky.
Yeah, I need Jafufu's weapon.
Vivian sig.
So this patch is going to be a big one for me because I want Jafufu's weapon, I want Idari and Idari's weapon, I want Lucia and Lucia's weapon. I need those.
We want all.
I like the extra little shininess on each character, so.
Yeah, and they're basically pretty good, especially like for Lucia, we have seen it by now, so it's really good stuff. We gotta go for the weapons. But yeah, I hope I will be lucky enough, because my current plan is for 2.3 grabbing Vivian Sick, get Lucia M1 and signature, and grab Yitari M2 and her signature. This is my main pull plan, let's say. And hopefully, because at the end of patch 2.3, I have accumulated a total of 600 pulls. So right now I'm on 380 right now. I do have the plan to buy me 100 pulls more. So basically I'm on 480. And the next patch will probably give around 100 pulls extra. And with the monochromes I have left on my bank account, I will be definitely on the 600. And hopefully I get a lot of A ranks, which means I'm getting like extra pulls from that one as well. So yeah, we will see. The pulls, the Gacha gods will decide about that one.
Yeah, we're definitely talking dolphins here. I myself am got a birthday coming up, and that's going to be one of my things. I said to my wife that I want to spend on my waifus, and she was like, okay. Well, I guess that'll be something you can have for your birthday.
Hey man, if you're having fun, just
That's
spend in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also,
Happy
it's
birthday,
better sometimes than.
Brother.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, well, you might have a podcast right when that happens, or right before that. It all depends. But
let's go. Do we have to sing happy birthday for you?
No, please don't.
Next episode.
I don't want to feel any older than all you guys.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have to do it. I mean, I can make it better. I can craft a rap for you if you want.
No, I think we're good.
Chat, I will tell him that I think he's the oldest of the entire Battle Hub mod team.
That is probably true.
Oh no! Imagine being old. But hey, I'm on your side of the first number, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So
I think we can
let's
wrap up. Then.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up here. So Savadra, where can we find you?
I am now done with hosting a tournament that I've been hosting for the past month. So, I'm going to be doing my own poll stream for Lucia on Twitch in maybe a week from this recording, but probably the weekend after the patch drops. But I do that on Twitch, and I'm going to be trying to start streaming more because I am now not occupied and losing my sanity. Otherwise, you can find me in the Battle Hub. It's a pretty cool place. As I said, we just finished doing a tournament. We also streamed most of it. That's a lie. We streamed a fair bit of it on the Zenless Fights Twitch channel, where you could also find me, which has been the majority of my time in the past month.
Thirsty, where can we find you?
I am also, or you can find me in the Battle Hub server. You can find me in my private Discord server. You can find me also on Senpai's server. So I'm everywhere on Discord, like in plenty of places. I am also on YouTube, which is my main source of posting videos. I'm currently working on a pretty big project. I'm a little bit behind of because, well, I'm one of those guys who has a real life, it seems like, because people are contemplating about that already. But yeah, I'm basically on Random Blood Gaming, and the name is Program. I have like random videos currently from ZZZ, but in the future probably also other games. But right now I'm hard focusing on Zenless Zero, having fun with my people, helping Sevadra not to have a mental breakdown on the tournament side, and well, you know, having fun and enjoying everything. What about you, Softy? Where can we find you?
You can mostly find me on YouTube. I have been doing a lot more streams on Twitch lately because I've had some free time. So I will probably be hosting myself a Lucia poll on Thursday, and we'll see how that goes. So we'll see how our luck is. Good luck to you guys as well on your polls.
Thank you. You too, man.
You as well.
And we can also find you in the Battle Hub, right?
Oh yes, that's right. I'm also one of the moderators in the Battle Hub, so you'll see me there, and we'll see what we can do. And hopefully, I will allude to this maybe next week. We will have a live showing. We're still working out the kinks, and we'll see if we can get that up. So, all right. With that, we're signing out. Take care, guys.
Take it easy.
Cheers to all of you. Bye-bye.